My name is Daniel Carter, and I was 38 years old when I installed a hidden camera in my own kitchen. Because I no longer trusted my own sister. And what I saw on that camera changed everything I believed about family. It didn't start with something big. It started with something so small. I almost ignored it. I used to think my life was stable. A quiet house outside Manchester. A steady job. A normal routine. Nothing special, but peaceful. My younger sister, Emily, lived with me. She moved in after her divorce. Just for a few months, she said. That was 2 years ago. She never left. At first, I didn't mind. She was family. She needed help. But slowly, things began to change. Small things. Food disappearing from the fridge. Leftovers I clearly remembered saving, gone the next day. Milk half empty when I was sure it was full. At first, I blamed myself. Stress. Memory. Tiredness. But then it kept happening. Again and again. Too precise to be a mistake. Then came the nights. Strange sounds from the kitchen. The fridge opening at 2 a.m. Soft footsteps across the floor. Every time I checked, nothing. Emily was always asleep. Or pretending to be. One night, I finally asked her. Are you getting up at night? I keep hearing noises in the kitchen. She looked at me like I was the problem. I have insomnia, Daniel. Not theft. Stop overthinking things. Calm voice. Too calm. Almost rehearsed. And I stopped asking. But the feeling didn't go away. Something was wrong in my house. And I couldn't explain it. Then one day, I came home earlier than usual. It was raining heavily. Cold. Quiet. Empty streets. I opened the door. And I heard voices. A woman's voice. And a man's voice. But only Emily was supposed to be home. I stopped moving. Listened carefully. Then I heard her laugh. Not normal laughter. Something softer. Familiar. Too comfortable. I slowly walked toward the kitchen. And stopped just before entering. Because I heard something that froze me completely. My sister said. You're early. I stepped inside. Emily was standing by the counter. And a man I had never seen before was sitting at my kitchen table like he belonged there. He stood up immediately. Smiled. Extended his hand. Hi. I'm Ryan. I didn't shake it. I looked at Emily. What is going on here? She forced a smile. He's just a friend. But I knew instantly. That was not the truth. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying everything in my mind. The missing food. The strange nights. The way she spoke. And now, this man. Something was connecting, but I couldn't see the full picture yet. The next day, I made a decision. One I never thought I would make. I bought a hidden camera. Small. Simple. Discreet. I told myself it was just to calm my mind. But deep down, I already knew. I wasn't looking for peace. I was looking for the truth. I placed it in the kitchen that evening, hidden behind a small plant on the top shelf. Perfect angle, covering everything. Emily didn't notice. Or maybe she did, and said nothing. That thought alone made me uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. That night, I went to bed early. But I didn't sleep. I was waiting. For something I couldn't explain. At 1:47 a.m. My phone buzzed. Motion detected. I opened the live camera feed. At first, nothing. Empty kitchen. Silent. Then Emily walked in. Barefoot. Carrying a black bag. She placed it on the counter and looked around carefully. Not casually. Carefully. Like she was checking for something. Or someone. And then she smiled. A small smile. And said something that made my blood run cold. I know you're watching. Those words froze me. I stared at my phone screen, barely breathing. Because she wasn't supposed to know. That was the whole point of a hidden camera. But Emily just stood there. Looking straight into the empty room. Smiling slightly. Like she could feel me through the screen. Then she turned away. And the real nightmare began. She opened the black bag slowly. Inside were documents. Not random papers. Carefully arranged files. Bank statements. Loan applications. Credit forms. All with my name printed at the top. My stomach tightened instantly. Because I recognized something on the first page. My signature. But I had never signed this. I leaned closer to the screen. Trying to understand. Then I saw another figure enter the kitchen. Ryan. He wasn't surprised. He looked comfortable. Like this was routine. Like this wasn't the first time. He sat down and opened a laptop. Emily placed the documents in front of him. And calmly said, "He still thinks everything is under control." My heart dropped. Because they weren't guessing. They were sure. I scrolled back through the footage. Hands shaking. What I saw next made my chest feel tight. Emily accessing my desk drawer. She knew exactly where the key was. Like she had done it before. Inside were my financial files. Passwords. Bank letters. She photographed everything. Then Ryan typed on the laptop. Fast. Confident. And within minutes, money started moving. From my accounts. Not once. Again. And again. Large amounts. Like it was nothing. Like it didn't belong to a person. I felt sick. But something else was worse. Emily's face. No panic. No guilt. No hesitation. Just focus. Cold, controlled focus. Like she wasn't stealing. Like she was managing something. Fixing something. I couldn't wait anymore. I got up immediately. And walked straight to the kitchen. 2:13 a.m. The house was silent. Every step felt heavier. When I entered, she was still there, standing near the counter, calm, as if she was expecting me. My phone was still in my hand. The video paused on her words. He still thinks everything is under control. I held it up. Explain this. For the first time, she didn't pretend. She just looked at me and said softly, "You shouldn't have watched that." That wasn't fear. That was disappointment. Like I broke an unspoken rule. "What did you do to my accounts?" I asked. She exhaled slowly, almost tired. Then said something I wasn't ready for. "I saved you." I laughed once, because I thought it was a joke. But she didn't smile. She was serious. "You were collapsing, Daniel," she continued. "Bills, debt, stress. You just didn't see it." I shook my head. "That's not your decision." She stepped closer, and her voice lowered. "You never checked your finances for months." That's how bad it was. Something in her tone didn't feel like guilt. It felt like belief. Strong belief. Dangerous belief. Then she said something that hit harder than anything before. "You should be thanking me." Silence filled the room. Heavy. Uncomfortable. Wrong. Then Ryan appeared behind her. I didn't even notice him enter. He spoke calmly. "Everything we did is legal on paper." That word. Paper. Like reality could be rewritten through documents. I stared at him. "This is fraud." He didn't react. Instead, he said, "It's correction." That's when I noticed something on the table. A property file. My house deed. But something was different. Another name was on it. Emily Carter. My sister. Legally added. 6 months ago. My breath stopped. "This is fake," I said immediately. Emily shook her head. "No. You signed it after your hospital visit." My mind flashed back. Stress collapse. Medication. Confusion. Blank weeks. Pieces missing. I stepped back. "No. I didn't." Ryan tilted his head slightly. "You did. You just don't remember clearly." That sentence hit differently. Because it wasn't an accusation. It was certainty. Emily spoke again. Calm. Almost soft. "You were not stable, Daniel. So we stabilized everything for you." I looked around the kitchen. My own house. Suddenly feeling like I didn't belong in it. Not fully. Not anymore. "You think I'm crazy?" I asked. Emily didn't answer immediately. Then she said, "We think you're recoverable." That word stayed in the air. Recoverable. Like I was a system error. That night, I walked out of the kitchen. Not because I accepted it, but because I realized something terrifying. They were not acting randomly. They were following a plan. A long one. Carefully built. Patient. And I was already inside it. The next morning, I went to the bank. Everything looked normal. Too normal. My accounts showed updated records. Loans I had never approved. Payments I didn't recognize. All structured. All documented. All legal. Then I went to the police. They listened. But their expressions changed slowly. Because the documents matched. Perfectly. No gaps. No errors. Nothing to act on. Just family dispute. Not crime. That's when I understood the real trap. This wasn't just theft. It was preparation. Every step had already been covered. Every reaction already predicted. Even my disbelief. Days passed. Then weeks. I tried lawyers. Financial experts. But the answer was always the same. It looks legitimate on paper. Paper. That word again. And Emily? Gone. No calls. No messages. No trace. As if she had never fully existed in the house. Just memory. And evidence I couldn't fully prove. But sometimes, at night, I still hear footsteps in the kitchen. Soft. Slow. Like someone is checking if everything is still in place. And I know it's impossible. Because I live alone now. But fear doesn't care about logic. It only cares about patterns. And the pattern never really ended. Because the last thing Emily said to me still repeats in my mind. Calm. Certain. Almost caring. We didn't take your life, Daniel. We just corrected it. And sometimes I wonder, if everything they did was correction, then what was I before they started? And this story teaches us that trust is important, but blind trust can be dangerous, especially when it involves family, money, or personal identity. We should never ignore small warning signs, because most big betrayals start with small, unnoticed changes. It also reminds us that financial awareness and regular checking of your personal records is not optional. It is necessary for protection in today's world. Sometimes people may justify their actions by saying they are helping you, but real help never takes away your control or your truth. And most importantly, this story shows that what looks legal on paper is not always emotionally or morally right in reality. Sometimes the people closest to us don't destroy our lives suddenly. They slowly rewrite them until we no longer recognize what is real.